Excuse me. What is going on, everyone? Can we hear me? Everyone doing okay? Let's see. Everyone hear me? You can hear me. Okay, good. Everyone can hear me. Good, 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 good. Why isn't it coming up on this? Okay, good. There we go. Good, 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 good. There it is. Okay. My very scientific way of finding out if you can hear me is I pull myself up on the phone. Geo Scholar, how you doing, pal? Boom, 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 boom. 25 people. Don't forget to hit that like button. Apparently that helps out with the streams. I had no idea. What the hell's on my glasses? You didn't get the... Nobody ever gets those heads ups on these things. Will I ever get political? I try not to. Yeah, it's just not something that's it's not something I care about that much. And there's only two things that happen when you get political. Is you piss people off or you get a bunch of people that agree with you. And so there's no point. There's a reason places like Arizona used to have laws where you could not discuss politics in a drinking establishment. West Virginia. Good evening, Stardust. Andrew Walsh, how are you? Pure happenstance, huh? You just found your way here. Yeah, I heard the president is in the hospital right now. Howdy, Matthew. Ari, how are you? Any small metro areas? I'm trying to find a small place like St. Lawrence. As we get closer to the year, I'm going to do a best place to live in the United States. I usually do 10. Occasionally I'll do all 50 states. But, yeah. I might do the best cities to live in each state. I get that. You know what? I get that all the time. People always think I'm a lot younger than I actually am. I did watch the debate. Other than arguing with each other, I don't know if they really said anything. What's the largest city I've ever been to? Mexico City, I believe. I think that is actually the largest city in the world. But, I mean, I've been to Houston a couple times, and that's like one of the largest cities we have here in the United States. Hey, Renee Salazar, how are you? How's my favorite New Jersey baker? Would I ever collaborate with another channel? Yeah, I have. Mr. Beat. We did a collaboration a couple months back. Is Beijing the largest? I knew Mexico City was one of the largest. I thought it was number one. Jordan, how are you, buddy? Did you ever get that thing sorted out with that kid stealing your videos? You're drunk. You won't be able to stay on long. Well, at least you're honest about it. Julia B, I wish you could join too. From Beaverton, huh? Wait. Yeah, Mr. Beat's pretty cool. I like him. Do I think Baltimore will ever get better? There's a good question. I think yes, it will. There's a couple reasons. A lot of tech companies are moving to Baltimore. Baltimore's doing some of the right things with bringing in businesses. Now, the plus to that is it takes time, but when people have jobs, they quit committing crimes a lot of the times. Now, you're always going to have crime in Baltimore, but will it get better? Yes. Will it become some perfect place? No. Denise, thanks. We are doing okay. Channel. Well, thanks, Mike Hawk. I appreciate that. Paramount, California. My favorite small town in Washington State, Leavenworth. I like Leavenworth. Do I ever make positive videos? I do sometimes, but not that often. Canada, oh, Canada. Renee, we are doing great. I'm getting ready to do a New Jersey video. I didn't know this, but the highest percentage of the population, everyone thinks it's California and New York. It's actually New Jersey. More people per capita are moving out of New Jersey than any other state. Connecticut, Mike Hawk. I've not been to Sparta, New Jersey. Chicago. Have a good piece of pizza for me. GeoScholar. If you guys haven't checked out GeoScholar's channel, go check it out. It's pretty good. I like it. He's been a long-time subscriber to this channel. Can I please do a positive video on New Jersey? You know, I don't know if I have that kind of energy. That one might be too hard to do. Autumn Beauty? Thank you. By the way, those of you who follow my channel and the other people that know Andy, who's on here all the time, she gave you an update a couple weeks ago that she's got some medical issue. She started chemo this week, so she's feeling sick right now. Will, how are you? Hermens Outdoors, another good channel. Ed, yeah, hit that like button, guys. I got 150 people on here and 41 likes. How is that possible? Well, thank you, Kevin. Daniel, how are you? Auburn or Georgia? Georgia. I'm a Bulldogs fan. If I got to choose between the two, Bulldog. And the only reason for that is when I was in the military, I went and saw like 5 different games there, and I loved it. It was such a good time. She's yeah, you know what sucks is she gets hit with this Andy again. She starts her channel Bliss, which she's all into yoga and all that stuff, and she always wanted to start one of those channels where people could just sit there and watch scenery and relax, and she likes making the videos, and she's learning how. So she just starts her channel, gets like 3 videos up, and then gets this bad news, and so channel's a backseat. She was really excited about it. I'm sure when she takes the time off, she'll be back at it, but yeah. I've been through Chico, California. Favorite small town in Florida? Ooh, that's a rough one. Can I make a video about Santa Cruz? I could. I haven't been there in a long time. Cancer does destroy lives, too. Western Australia, Fiddly, how are you, buddy? I was just looking at your Instagram a little while ago. Yeah, she's matter of fact, let's do that. I know I bring it up all the time, but I feel if anyone needs a little encouragement, it's Andy right now. I'm going to put her channel up there. Maybe we can get her some more subs. Yeah, she just does the scenery stuff so you can sit, relax, and unwind, and she's very excited about it. So hopefully during this rough time, she'll be able to get a bunch of subscribers. Badgers or Buckeyes? I'd go with the Buckeyes. "10 Reasons Not to Move to New York City." That's one I've done, and I'm going to start redoing some of my older videos here in the near future that are like 2 years old and stuff. I've done a couple recently, but I want to do a bunch more, and New York City's one of them. Kevin Klein, thanks for supporting the channel. World's happiest countries. Yeah, I think it's time for that. I think did we do one like that? No, we did the poorest countries. But Kevin, thanks for supporting the channel, buddy. Just subscribe. Best climate list. San Diego's always going to be the one that wins that one. Best city in Mexico. Ooh, tough one. I used to go down to Mexico a lot when I was younger, surfing and then just partying down Tijuana or Rosarito and something like that. I haven't been down in quite some time. Charleston County, South Carolina. Do an out-of-place video about Antarctica. Best towns in Antarctica. There you go. I've been to Maine. Actually, I should be in Maine next week. But the cruise line, I was taking one of those cruises where we go up to Canada from New York and all that. And that was supposed to happen next week, and that got canceled, obviously. Screw the Buckeyes. Wolverines for life. There you go. Michigan. Someone described a Wolverine as a badger, just angrier. Oregon State. I'm a Beavers fan when it comes to that. I like anything orange, okay? I'm a Browns fan. I can't stand Cincinnati, but I like the Beavers. Maine is underrated. Maine is easily one of the best, if you've got the money for it, okay? It's not for people that are on a budget. If you've got the money and you don't mind harsh winters, Maine is probably the best state to move to. There's some argument for Wisconsin, which is a little bit cheaper, and maybe Vermont and New Hampshire. But in my opinion, Maine is it's, in my opinion, probably the best state. Toronto. Connecticut is overrated. Connecticut is weird. And I'll tell you why Connecticut's weird. It's got some of the worst poverty and run-down towns in the country. But they also have some of the most expensive zip codes in the country, too. And probably more of a concentration of billionaires live or own property in Connecticut than most states, maybe California or New York. But once you get past those, they probably have the most billionaires living in Connecticut. But there's like, it's usually 5% millionaires, 75%, whatever, middle class, and then 20% are poor. In Connecticut, there's like no middle class. There's like the super rich and the poor. It's weird. Romeo the Lynx, how are you? Glad you could make it. Sorry, I missed a bunch of things. Someone keeps saying Toronto, Canada. It's a nice place. Tracks, Star Music, it's a great place. Please quit spamming the channel. But Toronto, I like the Blue. I used to watch all kinds of Toronto games when Doug Gilmour played for him. Fort Drum? Fort Drum. My son just got out of there. The winter, that's what he said. The winter's, it's horrible. Connecticut cannot beat Delaware. Thanks again, Kevin, for supporting the channel. In weird. I think the winner of weird is Oregon, though. Sean Nichols, thanks for supporting the channel. Maine is decent alternative for people who can't afford to live in New Hampshire. Yeah, that's a solid way of looking at it. But yeah, if you're retiring with a good piece of change, any one of those New England states are your best option. As far as weather, if weather's a concern of yours, probably not. But if you've got the money and you want safety and you want a nice, you know, nice air, clean living, things like that, the New England, most of New England's probably your best bet. You've got to be able to afford it and handle the cold. Who'd I vote for? I didn't vote for anyone. The election's not till November. Vincent, let's see what you said. It's never close to my father, dude. You know, give me any advice you want to leave. How to do that? Okay. I was never close to my father due to all of the fighting and arguing, and I want to leave and live on my own. Can you give me advice on how to do that? Well, it sounds like you're younger. My advice would be make sure you got a solid job first, unless it's really bad. I mean, I can't give you life advice like that, but as far as moving, make sure you got a solid job and go someplace cheap. Don't be afraid to jump on Craigslist and find a place that's just renting a room in the beginning. You can always leave one of those and find a better. As you grow, you can get towards your own apartment and so on and so forth. But yeah, obviously, if you're going to move someplace, unless you want to end up on the street, make sure you have a job that can transfer to another job in case one goes. It's kind of hard if you're not close to your family and you don't have that safety net. It's just my advice. Would I rather live in Kansas or Nebraska? Is there a difference? They're pretty much the same place. All right, sorry, I missed a bunch, guys. So if you're new here and you haven't been to my live streams before, a lot of times I miss a lot of things, and it's not because I'm ignoring you. If you spam me a bunch, I will ignore you. But the chat gets going pretty fast, and I miss a lot of things, and I apologize up front. I try and get what I can. All right, that's it. Toxic Gaming. We got to get rid of you for a while, buddy. There you go. Now you're on a timeout. Quit spamming the channel. Oh, I'm sorry. I just did the wrong guy. But you were spamming too. So Track Star Music, I put you on a timeout. Toxic Gaming, I put you on one too. Don't spam my channel. It screws things up. Victor Holland, how are you? Brody Berry? I don't know. Vincent, oh, you're 21? Yeah, you know how it works, man. Make sure you got a good job that can transfer to another job. Pick up a skill. Don't be afraid to go. This is another thing. I don't know how many of you are under my age. Don't be afraid to go to a community college, okay? Especially if you're in this situation where you might not be having family support or something like that. Go to a community college. Get that first 2 years out of the way on extra cheap. Sigma 6, thanks for supporting the channel. I'm not sure what, is that yen? 1,000 yen? Thanks for supporting the channel either way. Gotta have skills. Yeah, you know what? There's a couple things, especially if you don't have a college degree or something like that and you just want to get out of the house. Look at things like getting a certification for a forklift driver, crane operator, things like that. That's a skill that you could work other places. Everyone seems to focus on just getting a college degree. If you don't have that opportunity, get a skill that pays you well. Like I said, welding, forklift driver, crane, stuff like that, that you can transfer job to job if you have to. Keep a roof over your head and get your schooling as you go. I mean, it's just so funny why some people, they just think they need to go to a 4-year college. That's great if you can. Not knocking that at all. But not everyone has that opportunity. Work your way up to it. Almost, I mean, everything's like that. Look at my YouTube channel. I had to work for years while I was working on it. Ocean State. How about the Ocean State? Is it underrated? Yeah, it depends. How do you feel about Boston? Yeah, yeah, there you go, Bob. Nothing wrong with a community college. Go there. I mean, why go to a four-year college if you don't have a degree or something like that, or someone's paying for it? I was, lucky. I went straight to a community college with the money from the Army. So, it's just cheaper. Why spend all that extra money if you don't have the backing to do it? Spend the 2 years at college, community college. Nothing wrong with it. Freezing winter, scorching summers. El Camino. That's where I went. El Camino. That's pretty funny. Is Madison, Wisconsin a good state? Madison's a great city. Wisconsin's a great state. Southern Hood Vlogs. Just moved to Alabama from Florida. Loving it. Weather, friendly people. Loving, there's a lot wrong with Alabama, but the people aren't one of them. There's good people in Alabama. Yeah, El Camino is a great community college. When I first went there, it was like $12 a unit. Yeah. Thanks, Victor. But yeah, Southern Hood Vlogs, thanks for supporting the channel. Thoughts on Oklahoma? Oklahoma's not terrible. But as far as the Ocean State goes, I mean, like Rhode Island, which is the Ocean State, it's decent. It's just got that one, that whole area right there with Rhode Island, it kind of makes me feel like it's just part of Connecticut and all that other stuff. It's weird. What's the most beautiful state in my opinion? I will list them for you. Maine, Vermont, Oregon is number 3. Pennsylvania is number 4 probably. And number 5, I would have to go with Washington. And that's just me. I like it green and I like it rainy, It's just how I am. Best city for nature access. Solid question. Solid question. So let's focus on that for a minute. There's a lot of different places where, you have a city. Fiddly, thank you very much, buddy. I know you're from Australia. Thanks for supporting the channel. Nature places. So you have a lot of cities where nature is right there. And like Portland's a perfect example. If you look at Portland on the map, I mean, once you get past all the riots and all that nonsense, if you look, there's a giant hill right behind the west side of the river. And that's like one of the biggest parks with all kinds of hiking trails and everything else like that. And there was a movie about this. But this park is so big and so wooded and, different valleys, and it's on a hillside that a father and his daughter lived in there for like 2 or 3 years. And nobody found them. She still went to school, I think. It was weird. It was a weird story. I read about it. Then they eventually made a movie about it. Which Australian city or state would I live in? I'd like to go back to Brisbane sometime. That's just me. Briggs harvest starting. No problem, Heidi. Kopitar 11. Please tell Marissa, go Dodgers, Giants suck. Hey, go Dodgers. I'm a LA guy. Cities with the cheapest rent. Didn't we just do that one? Houston or Sacramento? Houston. Oh, and thanks for supporting the channel, Kopitar 11. Jonas, thank you for supporting the channel. And of course, Finley. Houston's Houston has some bad areas, but Houston's not a bad state. Or city, I'm sorry. In a good state. And right now, I did a video where I was talking about them, and I got into this article about how they're so closely tied into the oil industry and the gas industry, whatever, chemical industry, with the downturn in the economy and fuel costs going down. They think that Houston may start to suffer pretty bad in the next 10 years if they don't come up with something else. Because if you look at a map of Houston, from Houston all the way down to the Gulf and even around Houston, Trinity Bay and all that, it is nothing but oil refineries, chemical plants, and all that stuff. And if oil starts taking a hit, places like Houston, they employ a lot of people there. Not as much as because of automation, obviously not as much as in the 70s and whatnot, but they employ a lot of people in Houston in those industries, and if they take a hit, so could Houston. What's your advice on picking a niche? I just started on YouTube, picking a niche on here. Aiden C in San Jose. Hey, consider this a shout out to Aiden C. Who's Aiden C? Friend of yours? Moving to Ohio. Where are you moving to, Amberlyn? Mitch, thanks for supporting the channel, and Kopitar again. My advice to you, as far as a niche goes, find something you're interested in. Something you're very interested in, because if you're not interested in it, you're going to lose motivation. And you're looking at a year of trial and error and dedication before you'll get any traction, unless you're lucky. I know there's some girl that lives in a van, and it helps that she's young and attractive, and she lives in a van, and she, within a month, had like 1 million subscribers, and she only had like 5 videos up. But if you're like the rest of us, you're looking at a year of trial and error. So whatever niche you want to get into, make sure you stick with it, make sure you're interested in it. But I will tell you this, teach people something. Vlogging is popular, but it's way oversaturated. So it's like I vlog a little bit, and the only reason anyone watches mine is because I have this platform to put people over to it. So vlogging is kind of overdone. Commentary channels are good. Video essays are really popular right now. Look at the Nerd Writer. He's really good. Windmere Productions, things like that. Those are good channels that do video essays, and people are really enjoying those. So, yeah, that's how I would look at it. Look at video essays, especially if you're the writer type. It's a good idea. And sorry if I keep itching. I took prednisone today because we got bad air again and I got bad lungs. So it makes me itch. Almost like I got a drug problem. That's always fun, isn't it? Just be good looking, vegan, and do yoga. Exactly. That's the other thing. Andy, who now is going through chemo, but when she wanted to start her channel, I don't want people to know me, and I don't want to put my face up there. Andy's gorgeous. She does yoga all the time, and she's like, I don't want my face on there. I'm like, well, you're missing out on an easy in. Miss Menendez, how are you? Peo Molina, thank you. This is Long Beach. There you go. Dallas tornado risk. There you go. Tell me more about the Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas is solid. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. So, Northwest Arkansas is not like the rest of the state. You got Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville, where the University of Arkansas is, or Arkansas State, whatever it is, the Razorbacks. That area is not like the rest of Arkansas. They have good people, good neighborhoods, not a terrible amount of crime. They have crime, but not horrible, like Little Rock or places like that. So it's just not like normal Arkansas. It's almost could be their own little place. Very similar to how, I'll get to you in a second, David. Thanks for supporting the channel. Very similar how Austin is a lot different from the rest of Texas. It's the same thing with that corner of Arkansas. It's not the same. It's weird. What is my opinion on Asheville, North Carolina? They got a great music, great beer scene, and if you're under 40, it's one of the better places to move right now, especially if you're into those things. You know, microbrews and good music. It's a solid place to move to. What's my favorite movie of all time? I got like 4 that I can't decide which ones are the best. Big Fish, I love. Saving Private Ryan, Bridge over the River Kwai, which is a 1960s, 50s war movie, and Almost Famous. Those are my 4 favorite movies. Thanks for supporting the channel there, Miss Menendez. Thoughts on Port Arthur, Texas? It's okay. I mean, it's cheap to live there. It's not the best place in Texas to live, but it's cheap. You just moved to Camden, New Jersey? You're lucky you're getting there now. About 4 years ago, it was the absolute worst place in the country to move to. Warm regards from Miami, Florida. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yeah, I love that too. I love all Monty Python stuff. My favorite skylines in America? Good question. New York City, even though you don't have to love the state to appreciate what's going on that skyline. I like Austin. Yeah, that's a tough one. Miami's got a great skyline too. And yeah, New York, Austin, Miami, a couple of my favorites. Chicago too. Yeah, absolutely Chicago. Thoughts on Reno, Nevada? It's a nice place. It's better than living in Vegas. Living off the grid looks more attractive every day. Hey, track star music. We're not going to get into politics on here. How's Raleigh, North Carolina? Which is the safest state to live in? Ooh, good question. Safest state to live in. You got to look at places like the Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa. I mean, outside of Des Moines, there's like almost no crime. Same thing in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is very, very low crime and very safe outside of parts of Milwaukee. So I would say somewhere in that area. Is the economy going south? Well, it should. I mean, everything's pointing the direction that we should be tanking for the next couple of years, but hopefully we won't. Corina, thank you very much. 3 best places to retire. Affordable with low crime. Okay, so there's some great suburbs outside of Lincoln, Nebraska that are probably the best option. Then you have like Sioux Falls and different places in Iowa. Really, really inexpensive. Another one I like, if you like, it's kind of the mountains, but it still gets pretty warm. Santa Fe, New Mexico. Santa Fe, New Mexico is a good choice. I'd stay way away from Albuquerque. But if you want a little heat in your retirement, I'd look at Santa Fe. Do I get a job before or after I move to a new city? I'd call ahead. Make sure you got something lined up. Or a good amount of money in the bank in case, you know, I mean, right now is probably the wrong time to be moving someplace without a job. The economy's teetering on, you know, being in bad shape. So I would make sure you got something ahead of time. Amy, let's see. Briggs, about top 10 places for fall colors. Oh, that is a good one. Solid question. You know, that would be a fun one to do. I think I might do that. I'll throw that into the mix. It's just very seasonal. And I don't like to do things that are seasonal or topical because they don't get views throughout the year. Like if I do a 4th of July video, I get like 5 days of good views and then like 1 a day for the rest of the year. It kind of sucks. Carson, California? Know it well. Never lived there, but it's right behind where I grew up. Scott Henning, hey, you like my shirt? Give us a house tree. My house, yeah. You know, one of these days maybe we'll do that, or at least go, oh, who donated all that? 3 places. Oh, that was you. Karina, thanks for supporting the channel. I didn't realize that was that much. The pink is the same color as I think another one. I thought it was just, but I appreciate that. $50. Thank you very much for supporting the channel like that. Most dangerous animal in each state. You know, that could be a good one. You know, actually, we looked at that one. Which animal causes the most deaths in each state? And really, animals don't cause a lot of deaths in any of the states. You know, it's like, you think alligators. Florida's got alligators everywhere, and it's like they have 2 deaths a year maybe related to it. They lose a lot of pets, but, you know, it's really not that much. I think Wyoming, it was weird. It was something like Wyoming or Montana led the thing because they had like 5 people killed by buffalo one year, you know? Then what was the one? They just had a grizzly bear kill someone in a national park, and I was shocked to find out that that was the first one since the 80s. You know, you think you're out in the woods, a grizzly bear is going to attack you. Watch my mouth. What did I say? Go. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. People see the teeth and they think alligators are horrible. I mean, if you decide to kick one in the face while it's taking a nap, you're going to get bit. Chances are he's not going to drag you in the water. Especially if you're an adult, maybe a kid. VO Life, I'm doing great. You finish your blunt, huh? That's great. You know, see, Jive GN, you bring stuff up like that, and I gave you my favorite 4 videos. Shawshank Redemption is one of the greatest movies ever made. I could watch that one over and over. Sadly, I just saw this thing online. Talk about not having health insurance or something like that. In Shawshank Redemption, there was the God, I hate saying things like this because then people. But there was the group of homosexual prisoners that kept, you know, having their way with Tim Robbins. The leader of that pack, he's an actor. He's actually homeless now, or at least he was like 2 years ago when they did it. And what happened was his mother had some medical bills that needed to be paid, or she couldn't get some operations. He had to sell his house and end up living in his car. And this was like 2 years ago. I hope he's better, but I thought that was weird. I was like, oh man, because I'd seen him in things before. Oh, his name's Watch Your Mouth. Okay. But there it is. I'm an idiot. Thank you. Watch Your Mouth, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thank you for letting me know I'm an idiot. But yeah, I appreciate you supporting the channel. Very much so. Dave Ramirez, thanks for supporting the channel. We're moving to Vermont. Any suggestions for where? Okay, other than Burlington. So, neat thing about Vermont is they have little towns spread out all over the place. You know, you go through the woods and you find another one. That's what I like about the place. But if you don't want to live in Burlington, Montpelier is really nice, which is state capital. You got Stowe, which is beautiful. Middlebury is great. If you start getting up towards, if you want to live in like nice little small towns near the Canadian border, there's one called Richford, which is kind of nice. It's very small, and you know, there's a couple other ones, but yeah, I think if I had to choose out of any place outside of Burlington, I would probably head to Middlebury. I like that place. Now, keep in mind, I say that I haven't been extensively through the state. I've been there a couple times, but those are the places I like. Mount Dora, Florida is nice. There you go. Leeway Holloway, how are you, buddy? Best movie from Super Troopers. Super Troopers. So this is the problem with Super Troopers. Who's seen Super Troopers, the first one? Oh, another ECC alumni. Crenshaw Tech, buddy. Okay, so this was the terrible problem with Super Troopers. The very beginning, and this is kind of a comedy lesson, and I don't know why they didn't go with this, but the first 5 minutes of that movie is the funniest part of the whole movie. Normally in comedy, you want to spread it out a little bit and hit them with your best stuff at the end. But they blow their wad at the beginning with some of the funniest things I've ever seen in a movie. The first 5 minutes of that movie is the funniest thing I've ever seen in a movie, and then the rest of the movie was like secondary. But yeah. Kieran Joyce, how are you? Harvey, Illinois. Miniature, I've heard that before. South America countries. I've been to enough of them, I should. But then again, it's been years since I've been to one. Brett, how are you? Browns are again this weekend. Ooh, CLP, what is that? Chilling. I'm chilling. Your videos help me a lot. Thank you very much, Sebastian. I appreciate you supporting the channel. I really do. Hey, Caitlin. Am I going to do a top 10 reasons to move to Canada? CPL is Chilean. I just realized that. Chilean peso. Oh, that's what they call their money down there. Yeah, here's a thought. Does peso mean something like, is that like dollar? No, what's the word I'm looking for? Does that mean like money? Because a lot of the Latin countries, they use the word peso in their currency. I'm not a Spanish speaker. Is Ellie on here? She might be able to tell me. Thoughts on Casper, Wyoming? It's nice. Pound. Okay, is pound in English. I gotcha. Wait. Oh, okay. That would make sense. Encyclopedia. Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, you know, a lot of people, they do things where they read and watch other things. I like to watch travel things. I like to go places, and I like to read about locations. So yeah, I'm a walking encyclopedia of places to live. I have been through North Dakota. Actually, I was just in North Dakota about 3 months ago, I think. Yeah. All right. Everyone talk amongst yourselves. I have to use the restroom real quick. I have a thing for that. Watch this. Cool. And I'm back. Okay, Brandon Melendez. I might be the only one that understands that joke. Do top 10 pizza cities. So that's something I'm going to start doing, is I'm going to start going to food places, and I want to do like the best tacos and things like that. I go to all these different cities, and I'm going to start eating in some of these places. I never thought to actually film them before. Now I want to, and so that'll be coming. No, there's not bugs on my head. I did shave my head earlier. But I have breathing problems, and we're getting the smoke again from the fires, so I had to take prednisone today, and it makes me itch on my head. So sorry, if that's what you're talking about. During that, I was in downtown Seattle and was tsunami. That's a horrible dream. Do I shave my head? Did I miss a spot or something? Okay, I'm missing something. I'm trying to figure out what everyone's talking about a bug on my head for. All right. What? Hold on. All right, you bastards. Got me all freaked out about a bug on my face. There was a bug on me. I did not know that. I'm going to have to look at the video again. Yeah, we've had a lot of wildfires lately. Okay, so... okay, let's all discuss the bug that apparently was on my face or my head or something like that, that some people are saying wasn't. Texas or Florida? I'll go with Texas. Oh, I missed a donation. I'm sorry. Who'd I miss? There we go. Mike Hawk, Portland, is 43 hours from your house. So where do you live? I think you told me earlier. Now I forget. Salt Lake. I'd choose Denver over Salt Lake City. They planned it when I was gone, you bastards. That is it. That is messed up. Jim Briggs. Thoughts on Aber? What's my favorite male YouTuber? My favorite male YouTuber? Are you talking... I watch Casey Neistat a lot. Hey, Rich W, thanks for becoming a super fan. I appreciate that. It does rain here a lot, especially, yeah, Western Washington. Western Washington gets a lot of rain, just like Oregon. Yeah, thanks, Chris. So, I mean, I gotta ask, you guys did plan that while I was gone? Because that is hysterical. Briggs has a bug on his face. That is great. I'm gonna do that to someone if I ever get the opportunity. Oh, there it is. Tsunami punch. That is hysterical. I gotta admit, that is great. Tsunami punch. That was great. I got to give you that one. That was terrific. Autumn Beauty, thanks for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Another super fan joining the party. Yeah, it did work. That was good. Do I have an OnlyFans site? No, I don't. In Bethel, Connecticut. Oh, there you go. How about Tennessee? I like Tennessee. Tennessee's not a bad state. Thanks, Ballad Janie. I appreciate that. Gene. PS4. PS5 soon. Need fans. I actually have a website that we're slowly building. Lon, how are you, man? Thanks for supporting the channel. Lon's another one. Been with us a long time here. Blue Highways book. Did I miss someone talking about that? That's a great book. So, Jacob, we are working on a best place for jobs coming, 2021. That one's, I think we've already done the research for it. I just got to record it. I do sell these shirts on my channel. You look down underneath the video and you'll see a t-shirt. For some reason, I have like 8 different t-shirts. YouTube sometimes only posts one of them. Like, that's the only one I have. If you click on it, it takes you to my Teespring thing, and I've got a couple videos there, and like stickers and things like that. Best city for jobs, the best city for businesses. Yeah, any place but California is good for business. I read this long thing about all the different hoops. It's like the most unfriendly state for business. That's half their problem. Most businesses want to leave because of that. They just have far too many restrictions. I mean, I agree with a lot of restrictions. You shouldn't be dumping stuff into the ocean. You shouldn't be spewing chemicals in the air. But when you got to go to 4 different agencies to get a frickin' tree planted in front of your house, BS, or in front of your business, it's BS. Thanks, Ron. Where would you move if money was no object? That's a rough one. Probably coast of Oregon, someplace. Redondo Beach crabs. I'll be in Redondo Beach next Wednesday? Yeah. No, next Thursday. Los Angeles, Salt Lake City. Ooh, I wouldn't want to move to either of them, but Salt Lake City because it's not as crowded. Oh, Truckee, California is one of the nicest small towns in America. If you ever get a chance to visit Truckee, California, which is not too far from Reno, it is a really nice place. Thoughts on Trump getting COVID? Yeah, it's not good. It's not good for anyone. I don't care about your politics. You don't want to see someone having to go through that, especially an older gentleman like himself. He has some of the best, obviously, some of the best medical care available on the planet is going to be taking care of him. But you don't want anyone to see that. I don't care what your politics are. You don't need to see that. It's not good. During your live stream, looking forward to checking out. I will, Finley. You always have some good content on there, comments on there. Good content. Some people from Vegas. Out in the middle of the desert. What are my thoughts on music? Like, what kind of music do I listen to? Did I miss another one? Oh, I did. David, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I appreciate that. I should really get someone to help me out with this. I've been thinking about it. But David, I appreciate you supporting the channel. I really do. Thank you, Paulie P. So, my favorite music. So, there's this one artist named Bonnie. Well, it's a band, Bon Iver, but the the lead singer, the guy that made it, is named Justin Vernon. He's one of the most talented musicians out there. Satanic Mac, thank you for supporting the channel. You and David. I appreciate that. But I listen to a lot of Bon Iver. When I was younger, I grew up on Los Angeles punk rock. I listened to Sex Pistols, a bunch of stuff like that. And then as I got older, I realized it made me kind of angry all the time. So I started toning back my music, and now I listen to things like Bon Iver and Iron and Wine, stuff like that. Denver or Vegas? I'd live in Denver way before Vegas. Lon, how can you sign up to become a member? So on my videos, if you go to underneath one of my videos, it should say join. And you click the join button and it lets you do that. We are going to start having member-only videos, just kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. If that's what you're into, that's coming out soon. And that's where you'll see what goes on in this 7-bedroom home where we run a business out of. I was 11 Charlie in the Army. Well, I was 11B, then 35 Mike. I like Reno. It's a personal choice, though, Mike. A lot of people like Vegas more. I like it a little more calm, but, you know, still has some of the Vegas things to do, but it's a lot less. Lon, thanks for supporting the channel. How do you feel about there? Yeah, it really doesn't. It's not here. Saint, oh, I'm sorry. Polly P, give you a job. Saint Mac, there you go. Sorry about that. Someone else was saying something that had satanic in their thing, and I think it crossed me up in my brain. Saint, that, yeah, going from one extreme to the next, huh? Answering your question, Briggs. Somewhere right in between Cincinnati and Columbus. A nice, safe city between Dayton and outskirts. So that's a good question. Amber, Lynn, thanks for supporting the channel. And again, Saint Mac, I'm sorry I said that. So if you're looking for someplace between Dayton and Columbus, you know, Springfield, I don't know about Springfield. Somewhere right between nice safe city in between Dayton and I got to start doing more Ohio videos. Actually, here's a strange thing. Urbana, Ohio. I've heard of that place. Sorry, I'm reading something lengthy someone wrote here that got blocked. You guys can't see it. Wow. Just so you guys know, I was just insulted in, I think, at least 11 languages. I could be wrong. Sorry about that. From what I can gather here, apparently just because I have a Mexican wife doesn't make it okay to say bad things about Latin countries. I don't think I've ever done a Latin country video. What's this guy talking about? That's weird. Anyway, we're moving on. We're going to block him. Okay, that dude is blocked. What an idiot. Okay, so back to this. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It took up half the thing. This guy wrote the longest. That had to have been the longest comment I've ever seen on this channel. Yeah, I've never done anything. I've done Canada. I did Italy. I think I talked about Spain in one video, but yeah. I am a veteran. Delaware. Tornado Alley, Hurricane Alley. That's what I think. I think they should call that whole place in the Gulf between New Orleans and like Brownsville, Texas. That's Hurricane Alley. best city in a tax-free state. So no states are tax-free, but places like Washington and some of the other states have no income tax, which I think is the best. If you're going to get rid of one of them, I think the state income tax is the one you should get rid of. I mean, here in Oregon, we don't have sales tax, which is great, but I'd really like it better if they didn't tax my income, because in a lot of ways, I mean, the theory behind taxes, if you tax people too much on their earnings, they won't want to work that much. I mean, I don't know, it's weird. It does suck, you know, when you get in that higher tax bracket, when you're working overtime and half it goes away to taxes. That's always crazy. You were conceived in North? Saint Mac. Thank you for supporting the channel. My favorite type of boat. Thank you. My favorite type of boat, a cruise ship, actually. I used to go out on fishing boats with my buddy Butch. His real name's Brian Adams, like the singer, and that confused a lot of people, so we just started calling him Butch. But yeah, he had a fishing boat we used to go out on all the time. I enjoyed that, but I like cruise ships now that I'm older. What was funny about the fishing boat that he had reminded me of the one from Jaws, the Orca. It was very similar to that. Worst city of all time. You know, you could make a great argument for Detroit, but I think in general, I think Detroit's been bad in the last... God, Detroit's been bad for about 30-something years now. But Cleveland is... You know, they had the river catch fire, and they were so polluted back in the day that it was just, it was a joke. But Detroit's kind of the same thing, so it's kind of a toss-up between those two. Detroit was one of our greatest cities, and Cleveland's had its time too, where it's been wonderful. But yeah, you know, I've read things on, yeah, Flint's another one. I've read things on how bad Cleveland was in the 70s and early 80s, and it's just like, I like Idaho in general. CDA is really nice too. But one that's going to start coming up as far as Idaho goes is Moscow, Idaho. That one's going to be pretty big here in the next couple of years. It's a nice place. A lot of people are moving there. It's still small. It's a good place to get in now. Gary, Indiana is another joke too. Memphis is one of the most dangerous places. I read some weird thing that they've had people attacked with machetes. Like, who attacks people with machetes? Which region? Solid aviation and space industries. So you're going to look at Southern California and you're going to look at Seattle when it comes to aerospace. Then, of course, you got Houston, which is also big there. A lot of people think Florida because Cape Canaveral, but they don't have as big of a aerospace industry as, say, Seattle or the Los Angeles area. Growing up in Torrance, California, it's almost all my friends' parents worked for some aerospace company. That's what I think Torrance, California was kind of built for aerospace workers. Good place for mountains, but no snow. You know, that's a rough one. Because mountains kind of mean snow, you know, during the winter months. But if you look at the Smoky Mountains, they don't get as much snow as, say, Colorado does. Is Vancouver, Washington a good place to live? Yeah, it is. People say it's not, but it's a decent place to live. You save money living there compared to living in Portland. Here in Portland, they call it Vantucky. They got a lot of hillbillies there. They used to. The place is growing now. A lot of that's going away. What's the best place to live in Alaska? That is a question for Hermens Outdoors. He's up there all the time, but I like the Kenai Peninsula. That's the only place I've spent a bunch of time in, or not a bunch of time, but it's the only place I've spent any real time in, and I enjoyed it. I mean, outside the military. Hey, Kimmie the Explorer. How's the channel going? That's another channel you guys should subscribe to. Kimmie the Explorer and Hermens Outdoors. Kimmie likes to roam around the Nevada desert and film stuff. Soldotna, yeah. Other up-and-coming cities, like you're going to have to wait for that video. That video is like 2 weeks away. No, not even that. Palos Verdes, California. Palos Verdes is right next to where I grew up. It's the hillside above where I grew up. Tempe, Arizona, or Chandler? Ah, that's a rough one. Tempe. Fun fact, Albuquerque has an average of 34 crime victims per day for every 100,000. Yeah, you should see their violent crime rate too. It's one of the higher ones in the nation. San Diego, Sam E., how are you? Do I think Palos Verdes overpriced? Absolutely, I do. I mean, the cities are nice, or the houses are nice, and you're talking the whole peninsula there. Your rolling hills, extra expensive, and all those different ones. But I think it's overpriced. But that's just me. I'm a lowlander there, or was. I don't live there anymore. What cities have I had the best time in my life? Oh, Portland. I've enjoyed Chicago. Charleston, West Virginia is nice. Austin, I've enjoyed the hell out of. Every time I've been to Baltimore, I've seen someone in the middle of the street screaming at people. That's weird. I like Madison, Wisconsin. Vegas is always a good time. I don't prefer it now that I'm older, but I really like Reno too. Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you? I think it's Teme. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Do you live in Palos Verdes? Annapolis, Maryland. Madison's a great place. It's right next to the mustard capital of the world, or not capital, museum. The International Mustard Museum's right outside of Madison. For 10,000, if you had to live in Grand Rapids, Michigan for 10, no, I wouldn't. Who would win in a fight, Briggs or Nick Johnson? Nick's younger than me. I don't know if he's got my jiu-jitsu pedigree though. I like Nick. Me and Nick talk occasionally. Actually, we were talking this week. He's a decent guy. International Catch-Up Museum. What's the best state to set up a tourist trap? Probably Vegas, or someplace with a nice beach. Thoughts on Jackson Hole, Wyoming? I've been there a couple times, not for very long. It was nice when I was there. I mean, I know stats about it. Well, not off the top of my head, but yeah, it's nice. You should be subbed to being Nick. Nick's a decent dude. I like his channel. .601 Travels. Me and him talk too, occasionally. He's pretty good. I like Casper, Wyoming. Yeah, I'm over 400,000. I think, usually when you hit 100,000, each 100,000, you usually start picking up steam, unless your videos are sucking. That's what I've noticed. When I hit 100,000, things went a lot quicker. And then when I got to 200,000, it seemed to go a little bit quicker, and 300,000 now, I'm hoping I can really pick up some steam now. That million seems to be kind of elusive to me. Best city in the United States? That's an opinion. I like Portland. If we didn't have all the nonsense going on here, it's a beautiful city, but we just have all this drama going on right now, all these riots and protests and all that garbage. I'm just tired of it. Yeah, I mean, I think Portland's probably the best city if you take that out of the equation. Right now, it sucks, but yeah. Worst hotel I've ever stayed at. So me and my wife stayed at one in Vegas. It wasn't even a hotel, it was a motel. And no. Oh, God, I can't even remember the name of it. Outside the Atlanta airport, when I left Ranger School in the Army, I missed my flight and I had to stay overnight. And I'm going to get a hotel room. Actually, I think I had to stay a day and a half. It was weird. So I had to stay in a motel, and I had like next to no money. So I went and stayed at this hotel room, this motel. And it's like 11 o'clock at night. I actually pulled my sleeping bag out of my, it was my military issue sleeping bag, and put it on the bed because I wasn't sleeping in that bed. So I slept on top of it, but I heard this voice coming down the hallway, and I heard knocking. I'm all, okay, they're, someone from the hotels checking on people or something like that. So they get to my door, and there's a knock on the door. Some woman goes, "Do you need a date?" I was like, "No, I'm good." That was scary. Zach, thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're watching. Oh, Keen, a thing about that Atlanta airport motel, the 9 and the 1 on the phone in the it was worn out. It's like all the other numbers you can see perfectly, the 9 and the 1 were faded. I'm not even kidding. Worst state for insects? It's got to be the South. You're looking at Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, Miami. Houston is really bad too, but that's not a state. But Mississippi, Alabama, all those southern states, all the way up to the northern border of each one of those states is just rough with insects. Stephen Russell B., how are you? Aren't you live streaming tonight, pal? Do you live stream every night? Polly P. They got big roaches, yeah, they do. Yeah. Australia's got some insects too. What are my thoughts on southern Missouri? The Ozarks are nice. What's weird is in Seattle, you go out to their, it's a rainforest, not a tropical rainforest, but it's a rainforest around Seattle and the islands out there. There's almost no insects. It's weird. Boston, New York City. I like Boston. States with the nicest people, you're going to look at Wisconsin, Oregon, again, once you get past the rioters. Hottest state is, believe it or not, California. Death Valley takes up a good portion of that state, and that's the hottest place it's sometimes in the world. I like South Carolina. Have a long weekend. There you go. That's another YouTuber. I watch him all the time. If you guys get a chance, he live streams all the time. Stephen Russell B. He always has some hosts on there. They just live stream and chat, and has some people that come on with him. It's pretty neat. Saddest people, the most depressing people? Saddest people, I don't know. It's a good question. I did one, and I forget what the list was because it's almost a year ago, I believe. But I did one on the states that have the most depression, or cities that have the most depression. I don't know who they were anymore. My voice sounds slightly different. Absolutely, Stephen. Environmental allergy, thanks for hanging out with us. You have a good night. Actually, I'm getting ready to shut this thing down anyway. Don't forget to hit that like button, anyone, before we go and before we stop all this. About an hour and a half. Give it a few more minutes. What do I think about Tallahassee? Tallahassee, I just did a video on them. They're not terrible. But, I mean, it's got a major school there, and it's not that big of a city, so it's almost like it expands and contracts, expands and contracts. And right now, without all the kids coming back to school, a lot of them still, you know, not on campus, I'm sure the city and a lot of the supporting jobs and businesses are suffering. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm just imagining it is. Best state for fall colors. That's something we were just talking about. That we're going to do that one. States with the best environmental green policies. You're going to look at Colorado, California, Oregon, and Washington. Where are Michiganders moving to? Right next door. Majority are heading to Minnesota. Not right next door, but, you know, that same area. Just get up on the lake and go over a little bit. I guess they got to go to 2 lakes, right? See, if you're in Michigan, Minnesota's right next. Yeah, you got to go through Wisconsin first. For some reason, I had it in my head that they connect someplace. But I guess they do a little bit. No, they don't. It's just the actual border there. Yeah, actually, up there in the north, they do meet, don't they? But only in a very small point near Grand Portage. Huh. That's really strange. Raleigh from Sarasota, Florida. That's probably a good move. Intercourse, Pennsylvania, and Blue Balls, Pennsylvania. I did a video about the worst names, and those were both on it. That's like 2 years, 3 years old now, that video. It's one of my first ones. Okay. Yeah, I would never run for president. Denzel Thomas. Yeah, thank you very much. Same to you. I hope you guys are doing good out there. Cleveland Browns. Love the Browns. Yeah, it's a waterboard. Well, actually, if you look at that map, I was just looking at the map, and it looks like right up there. No, I guess it is, because it's just east of that island there, or no, peninsula, I should say. No, actually, look at that. There's a water border. Yeah, I guess it goes across the water only. That's really weird. Canada, Minnesota, Michigan. That's strange. I got to do some research on that one. Someone asked how old I was again. I'm very immature, so does that count for something? What's the most beautiful country, in my opinion? I want to say one of the Scandinavian countries, you know. That's just my opinion. Top military towns to live in. I can tell you the number one is probably Santa Fe. Or, not Santa Fe, San Antonio, sorry. I am young at heart. Thoughts on Quebec? You know, I don't have... Yeah, Quebec's nice. Most Canadian cities are nice. I mean, some of the ones up north and, you know, kind of out of the way of everything, they got their challenges, but most Canadian cities are decent. All right, guys, I think we're going to knock this out right now because I'm tired and I'm hungry again. I didn't eat that much dinner. So I'm going to shut this down, and we'll do it again maybe next Friday. I have 2 videos coming out, tomorrow and Sunday, okay? So we're going to try and do this YouTube algorithm. Scott Henning, thanks for supporting the channel. We're going to see if the algorithm or what YouTube is telling me is correct, that I should be uploading on Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to try it out this week and see how it looks. So I got some videos coming out tomorrow morning and Sunday morning. I'll see you then. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with me.